It might be early, but there are going to be teams looking for quarterbacks in the 2023 NFL Draft. Which ones are they? Well, we get that right here on Locked On NFL Draft.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. We love being part of your team every day, and we are the Locked On NFL Draft Trio, led by former AFL defensive back Eric Crocker. Yes, that's him flexing. Ryan Tracy, he will flex as well. Oh, no, you're just going to see that. At
No
Ryan
comment.
Tracy NFL on Twitter. You can follow him there. Rogue Analytics is getting it done, getting us all the numbers and data that we need here on this show. And I'm John Harris, football analyst and sideline reporter for the Houston Texans, owner-operator, footballtakeover.com. And we want to thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And a reminder, Friday, Circle Friday. We're going to have something a little different for you on Friday. And that's going to be very, very fun. But tonight's show is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online, available to people worldwide. And they have a special offer for all of our listeners. Get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/LockedOn. All right, gentlemen, we are 5 games in to the NFL season. And there are some places around the NFL where they know where this season's going. They got on the 5, and they're going north to Stockton, and they know they're going there. I don't know if Eric will be there, but someday he'll be there. There are some that got on I-10 and went east, and they know where they're going. They know it's happening. These teams need a quarterback in 2023 or sooner. I mean, maybe they get something done before that, but these teams are going to need a quarterback, and where better to find one than in the 2023 NFL Draft. So we're going to put our prognosticating hat on. It's only 5 games through the season. We've seen things turn around. Seen it happen. 2018, we were 0-3. We looked awful. We won 9 in a row, ended up winning the division in 2018. Also seen teams like Josh McDaniels' team in Denver start off 6-0, and I think they ended up 7-9. So this thing can go a lot of different directions. But we also know the quarterback personnel in the league right now and where it sits, how it sits. So let's dive into teams. And I'm going to throw teams out there for you guys. And I want you guys, let's talk through the situation. Which team, some of these might be slam dunks. Some of these might need a little discussion. And then if there's any of them that we missed, let's go back and look at, hey, we forgot about this team. Let's discuss that. So first team on the list that could potentially need a quarterback. Slam dunk or no? Eric Crocker, the Carolina Panthers. Is it a slam dunk? Absolute, no doubt. The Carolina Panthers, who fired Matt Rule this week. Interim coach Steve Wilkes will carry it the rest of the year. So they're going to need a coach. I don't know what they'll do with Scott Fitterer as GM. My guess is he'll stay, but we'll see. But David Tepper getting rid of anybody in Carolina that had anything to do with Matt Rule. Matt Rule will take a college job at some point and offset his money from the NFL. Is it a slam dunk, Eric? Carolina is going to be in the quarterback market in 2023.
100%. And I'm glad that you brought them up first because that's the first team on my list. They need a quarterback. And they've been trying to figure it out. You go and trade for Sam Darnold. That hasn't worked out. You go and trade for Baker Mayfield. That has not worked out. And got a front row seat watching him against the San Francisco 49ers. It was not pretty, and he didn't help the case. You talked about them firing Matt Rule. So you get to really kind of turn over this page, find your new coach, figure out his philosophy on what he wants to do. Does he want to go the veteran route, which they've tried to do with Darnold and Baker Mayfield? And I know people are like, veteran? Yeah, those guys are veterans. They played years in the league. And Baker Mayfield has led a Cleveland Browns team to the playoffs. So they went the veteran route. I think now you kind of start over. You have a clean slate. You bring in a quarterback that has immense talent, and you put him in a situation which actually is not that bad. Now, you get a guy on a rookie contract. You build around him. They already have a lot of really good building blocks, right? If you're a young quarterback, I think that this is the team. This is where you want to go. You look at it. You got the running back behind you. Christian McCaffrey. You can lean on him in the run game and also in the passing game. Throw to him 6 to 7 times a game as well as him run and get that production. Awesome. Look at the receivers that they have there. You have DJ Moore. You have Robbie Anderson. You have some other guys that you're just looking to get the ball, Shi Smith, get the ball in their hands. And then on defense, I like what they're doing with the secondary. I like what they're doing with Brian Burns. These are guys that are really getting after it, but they have no chance because of the offense. So I think that would be the best case scenario really for a team, for a young quarterback to go to, because I think it's a team that is really, really underachieving. Might have started with the head coach, filtering down to the rest of the roster, but you plug in the young quarterback, that's one of the more ideal spots for a young guy.
I'm with you. I think Carolina can be I think Carolina can be turned around very quickly. There's one thing that sits in the way. All the draft picks, they give it away. They have 4 draft picks in 2023, a first, a second, a fourth, and a fifth. That's it. So that first is presumably going to end up being a quarterback. Ryan, Tracy, you agree? Carolina absolutely in the quarterback market in the first 2 rounds of 2023.
No.
No.
I'm going to be the voice of reason. I'm going to tell you why. Part of that is the draft class. Part of it is the weapons. And you just invested in the tackle in Icky, right?
Yes.
You got to feel like you've put blocks in there, right? Let me just ask you this. Is there one coach out there that you could see either turning something out of Sam Darnold? I don't think Baker even lands back there, but you just brought in Corral. If anybody can get something out of those guys, maybe a tandem like we've seen in New Orleans, could Sean Payton turn that around and take what you have and turn it into something? Maybe. I'd say it's 90% they need a quarterback, but there's a slim margin that somebody could do something.
Ryan, Tracy, if the New Orleans Saints let Sean Payton go to the Carolina Panthers, I will walk to your home and kiss you on camera. It ain't happening. Sean Payton, there's no way. There's no way Sean Payton is going from the Saints to the Panthers. There is no way.
Money talks.
No way.
Money talks for sure.
No
and
way.
he was on, I believe it was Colin Cowherd's show talking about that being a very impressive and intriguing job. So
It's yes.
you
no
never
doubt.
know, especially when you have an owner, David Pepper, who's willing to spend that cash. He gave Matt Rule, with no real NFL experience, right? He gave Matt Rule, and not even like the big time college experience. Like, yeah, he did well at Baylor, and then he did coach in the 2000s. Was he maybe a tight end coach in the NFL?
Yeah.
But no,
For
like
1 year.
legit, real $62 million over 7 years, and he still owes him $40 million. So clearly, he's willing to throw that money around. And if you are a guy like, I don't know, Sean Payton, where you go there, if he's interested in being in the Bible Belt and all that, hey, man, that might be a real good spot. He's going to look at those weapons and say, man, if I could just add a guy, okay, we got Trimble at tight end, maybe add another guy. You got some good building blocks. You talked about Ekwonu at the tackle spot, so you're working towards that. You got some real legit guys on that defense, especially that defensive line, Gross Matos, the kid out of Auburn, Burns. I mean, there's a lot to work with there.
Okay, Ryan,
Especially the
you haven't convinced me. You haven't
I like the
convinced me. but
cornerbacks. You got Jackson
now I'm a
there.
little
You
worried
got
I'm gonna have
J.C.
to walk
Horn.
from Houston a million miles and have to do something on camera. But I understand the Panthers wanting to do it. I just don't know that the Saints would do it. And I don't know if
rather
the
see him in
Panthers
Carolina
have enough.
or in Dallas. That's my question.
Yeah,
Where would they rather see him?
Boy, I mean, Carolina needs him, I think, a little bit more than Dallas does. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Dallas, I don't think they're going to be in a position where they can fire McCarthy.
right. I mean, Cooper Rush is saving McCarthy's job.
No.
I mean,
No.
I think that defensive coordinator.
I just want to see the reaction.
I think the defensive coordinator is saving
Oh, yeah,
McCarthy's
Dan Quinn.
job right now because they just completed. I think Cooper Rush just completed 10 passes in the game, but gets the win. Why? Because your defense holds the LA Rams to 10 points.
Dan Quinn's been legit, man. He's absolutely been legit. There's no doubt about that. All right, we got more teams to dive into. We will do that next. But now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Have you ever had and I know this is the case in my family, for me, for everybody in my family. It's really tough to come up with your own solutions to life. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, we all go through things. I mean, I've talked to so many people over the years that are like, man, everybody deals with something. But when you do find your own solution, there's no better feeling. And sitting with a therapist can help you become a better problem solver. There are things you may not even think about that your therapist has seen a million times that he or she can help you with. And it just makes it easier for you to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small. And I've sat in many, many, many therapy sessions over the years. I mean, I don't even know as many of them as I can. I don't know. There have been hundreds over the years. And they've been so helpful to me because there have been things I haven't thought about. Well, BetterHelp is there for you when you need it. Think of giving therapy a try. And BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable, and entirely online. You get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. You can switch therapists anytime, but just the opportunity to talk with somebody and discuss with a professional therapist. That's BetterHelp.com. When you want to be a better problem solver for yourself, therapy can get you there. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNFL today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNFL. It's BetterHelp. All right, I think I said Locked On NFL. It's /LockedOn. My bad. Don't throw the NFL in there, but /LockedOn. And I cannot, for all of us going through things, I cannot emphasize enough. Getting some help and BetterHelp is definitely a way to go. Now, we thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen every day. Make sure you check out NFL Key Predictions every Friday on Locked On NFL. Locked On's local experts give you the inside scoop on the 5 biggest games of the NFL weekend, including Sunday and Monday Night Football. Plus, betting advice from the field's leading experts, BetOnline. Follow NFL Key Predictions every Friday on Locked On NFL. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so I think I don't know if we're all the way there in agreement on Carolina looking at a quarterback early in this draft. Let's hit you with the next one. I think this one got really difficult, especially the last couple of weeks. Ryan Tracy, we'll start with you. Will John Schneider and Pete Carroll's Seattle Seahawks draft a quarterback in the top 2 rounds of the 2023 NFL draft?
Absolutely. I think they have to. I think Geno has revived himself well. He's given them good play. Sustainability at his age and at this level, I just can't see. I think it's over for Drew Lock. I think he is destined to be somebody's backup in a revival project. I think they have to go to the well, and they have to get younger there no matter what. Does it become a starter? Does Geno be another bridge for another season in 23? Possibly. But I think you have to go get that quarterback in this class where you have options.
Eric, you had that look on your face of, I don't know. Seattle Seahawks, first 2 rounds, drafting a quarterback in 2023. Yes or no?
Now, hold on. This is a Geno Smith pal, so let's put that out there.
We've got a full disclosure. Do we have to have like a disclosure overlay here?
We were rookies at the same time. We hung out a few times, and I remember young Geno. And here's the thing with Geno and some of these quarterbacks, and just in people in general, when it doesn't work out, right? A lot of times it's not because of talent and ability. Maybe just readiness, something up here, right? Maturity at that age. And again, I was around. So there could be some maturity things in there. The pressure, situations. And I remember that 2000 Jets team that I was a part of, who the running backs were, who the receivers were. Tight end, Kellen Winslow, man, he started doing some weird stuff, right? A lot going on during that time. Maybe not suitable for a young guy who probably could use a little bit of maturing. Not a great situation for him to be in at that time. But you have an opportunity to go places, be a backup, sit, learn, mature without the pressures of going out there, being a guy, understanding what coaches want, and find yourself, understand what works for you, and kind of, all of a sudden, all the talent that we saw at West Virginia, which he showed an immense amount of talent between him and Tavon Austin and Stephen Bailey and those guys that were there. Now, all of a sudden, we're starting to see it. He's not playing replacement level football right now. He's playing legit starting playmaking caliber football right now. What I just witnessed with him against the Detroit Lions, maybe Aaron Glenn gets fired. I don't know. It's been bad there, right? I hope not. Aaron Glenn was a scout when I was with the Jets, not a coach. He was a scout. Then he worked his way up, and now he's a defensive coordinator. You love to see it, but that defense has been atrocious, right? But what makes them look even worse when Geno Smith drops 48 points on their head. And then you watch Geno Smith this past week against the New Orleans Saints, a team who everybody, oh man, that defense. But that defense, we just watched them against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, that defense that New Orleans has. And all of a sudden, defense look a little different when Geno Smith steps on the scene. Why? Because he's making plays. Okay, you want to chase me out the pocket? I'm going to step up. I'm going to act like I'm going to run. No, I'm going to throw it 50 yards in the air, drop it at the back of the end zone for Tyler Lockett. Oh, and then I'm going to do it again. And I'm throwing the ball downfield to DK Metcalf and let him make plays. I just bet you if you ask those receivers right now, hey, you guys want a different quarterback or you want this guy? No, we'll keep Geno because he has figured out how to become the best version of himself. Now, as far as sustaining this, how much longer does he have? He's getting up there in age. If I'm 35, he's a couple years younger than me. All right. But if he can do this for another 3-4 years, and we look at their head coach right now, I don't think he's in the business of going out and getting a young guy and having to groom that guy. Maybe they do draft a guy, but definitely not in the first round. I think Geno Smith right now is playing himself into maybe a longer contract for the Seattle Seahawks and getting some more money.
You bring up an interesting case with Geno. Thinking about Seattle, they're the opposite of Carolina. They've got their first and they got Denver's first. They have their second and Denver's second. So they have 4 picks, and we'll see where Seattle finishes up and obviously where Denver finishes up. They could arguably have 4 picks in the top 50, top 55. Maybe they take a flyer on a talented guy that needs some time. You know, a guy like Anthony Richardson. Now, that might be a little bit much for Pete, but somebody of that ilk that maybe they could take, groom there in Seattle, and then build with that particular guy to take over for Geno down the road. All right, next team. I don't know how tricky this one is. Put up a bagel in New England yesterday. Detroit Lions. They've been drafting top 5 way too many times. They took Aiden Hutchinson last year. They drafted Okudah a year or two before that. They have focused on defense. They added Penei Sewell. But they have not drafted a quarterback. They do have Jared Goff. Now, Goff has been good at times. Then there have been times where you don't see a future with him. Eric Crocker. The Detroit Lions going to select a first-rounder or second-rounder as a quarterback in 2023. What say you?
They just got Aiden Hutchinson, but you're looking at this defense, and it's like, man, that might not be enough. And this team might not be a quarterback away. So I think if you have to decide between a quarterback, maybe let's say, all right, you got the number 1 overall pick, you're the Detroit Lions. Do you take Bryce Young or do you take Will Anderson? That's a dilemma. We've had this conversation and debate last week.
Yeah.
But I do think in this scenario, I might take Will Anderson and continue to kind of build that defense. Ryan's shaking his head, so he disagrees. I need to hear it.
How long do you have? How many kneecaps can you bite before you get fired? You need quarterback play now. I don't think they can afford to wait as an organization.
Rookie quarterbacks get head coaches fired.
That's true too. But what's your upside? You are not going to improve with Goff under center, period. You have to take what is the best prognostication you can to keep yourself employed to try to get the ship all the way turned around. I like what Dan Campbell does. I think he's got buy-in, but there's more that has to happen at the quarterback position specifically to put up enough points to win ball games.
But they've been putting up points. That's the thing. I think now we watched them get blanked against the Patriots, and that looked crazy. But prior to that, I mean, again, I talked about the shootout with Geno Smith. He put up 48 points. Well, the Lions put up 45.
But did it win? And then the next week you come back with a goose egg, right? So it's in comparatively game to game, you are not putting up enough points to get W's.
I think heading into this week, they were putting up probably the most points in the NFL. They did have, I mean, this was bad. It was bad last week. But, again, you add Will Anderson to that defense. Add a couple more pieces. I think you have some building blocks there to where you can get by with Jared Goff. Maybe not, he's not doing as much as what we've seen from Geno Smith, but I think he's playing well enough to where it's like, all right, let's continue to build this defense. You get Swift back healthy, right? You got Williams, got some backs back there. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got some guys that are making plays, but that defense is so bad. And whoever's that quarterback is going to need an immense amount of help. I love the thought of pairing Aiden Hutchinson. Now, Hutchinson, you don't have to be the guy. I know we drafted you number 2 overall, but you have Will Anderson on the other side of you. Takes a little pressure off of Aiden Hutchinson, and now you have 2 guys doing their things. We can have it. That makes your defense better, and in turn makes your offense better. Again, lean a little bit on that run game, and I think now you're starting to cook a little bit. So I'm going Will Anderson in that situation.
All right, America. We finally got to it. Now you can make your choice. Either hit us on Twitter, #Team Eric or #Team Ryan. What do you got? I want to know.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in Switzerland right now just watching it. I love it. Here's the other thing with the Lions, because they do have a ready-made offense. Is that a place where, I don't know, maybe a quarterback that's in San Francisco right now, maybe the Detroit Lions call San Francisco and say, hey, what can we give you for Jimmy Garoppolo? He'd be an upgrade over Jared Goff. I don't know. I don't think it happens because I don't know if the 49ers know that Trey Lance is going to come back healthy enough to play. So there's a lot of different things. But I can see the Detroit Lions maybe not drafting one, but maybe calling around maybe some veteran quarterbacks that have seen some things and done some things, and maybe bring a guy in if they don't think that Goff is going to end up being that guy. I think that's wasted. I think that's a waste in some sense. It's kind of what the Indianapolis Colts have been doing, and they're just spinning their wheels right now. They're spinning their wheels. They needed to have a young guy 3-4 years ago. I don't know. Maybe the Lions will trade for Mahomes. We'll see what happens at that particular point.
I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo is an upgrade.
I was waiting to see if I was going to get any reaction from Ryan Tracy.
Well, yeah, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is an upgrade over Jared Goff. I think they're in similar shoes to where if your defense is consistently the worst in the NFL, then Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have some trouble keeping you afloat as well.
Yeah, is Jared Goff from California?
He is.
Is he?
Okay. Now I
get it. He did go to Cal.
Now I get it.
Yeah, he's from California. His dad, he's Northern California, went to Cal. Yeah.
I am not a Jared Goff fan. I watched him against the 49ers, and it was really weird. But every year but one, he was going to the playoffs. They did go to a Super Bowl. Now, they only put up like 3 points in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that he's this great quarterback or a quarterback that you hold on to for the long haul, but I do believe he is good enough to where when you are in that transition, I would build around him, or I would build the team up first and see where I'm at, and then try to, if I can groom a young guy. So maybe if you can get, let's say this year Will Levis is there in the 2nd, 3rd round. I would do that and go with Will Anderson high, and then just see.
Well, John did say
Will
first
Anderson.
2 rounds. So yeah, I can definitely get down with that if you're there.
I mean, no doubt. I mean, I think for Detroit, there's some odds. I mean, it's the Seattle philosophy. They got every single piece other than the quarterback. I mean, Traverse Jackson was the quarterback with the Seahawks, I think, and they were just trying to survive. Hasselbeck was still, I think, hanging around for a little bit, but they built that team, and they just needed to plop in the right guy quarterback. Now, they thought it was Matt Flynn. Then they drafted some guy in the 3rd round, and that guy that they drafted ended up being pretty good up until like Thursday night and this year. But that's a different story about Russell Wilson, so we'll save that for a later day. All right, we're going to save that discussion for maybe a little bit later in the week as well. What other teams are going to be looking for quarterback early in the 2023 NFL draft? But when we get back, it's either or. It's kind of our way of, I don't know, making a little bit of bet. Maybe you guys bet a different way with betonline.net. That's the #1 source for football betting info this season. And hopefully you're using it because you get team matchups, news, podcasts, in-depth articles, analysis in every game you can find. And BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. Major League Baseball playoffs are going on, boxing, MMA, and, of course, our favorite, football. And if you're into golf, man, they got that for you too. Just go to betonline.net or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, it's my favorite time every week, either or. Although I'm getting a little bit better with different topics, I can put these two head-to-head against one another, Eric Crocker and Ryan Tracy. And, of course, I'm John Harris. So here we go, either or. I've got a few. And, Ryan Tracy, this one is specifically for you right off the bat. Either TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnston or any other wide receiver in America right now.
Are we talking about Quentin Johnston that just
don't.
Kansas?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
That
This is going to
one.
be a tough one for Ryan.
This is going to be a tough one for me.
14
Now,
for 207 and a touchdown against.
Good. Really? Do I need both of you doing this? Okay, fine. Credit to Quinn. It was an incredible game, and my guys did not show up in the secondary. Now, the reason they lost the game is because of the quarterback, not because of him, so we'll go into that another day. But I will take Marvin Harrison Jr. over him right now.
Oh, man.
But Marvin Harrison Jr., he's not draft eligible.
I didn't say he had to be draft eligible.
No,
You just
I
said.
didn't say it. You're right. I didn't. But if I just went straight draft eligible receivers,
Oh, then he's probably right up there. I mean,
6'4", 215, runs 4.4, ball skills.
it's a ball game.
Catch.
It's a ball game. You got to show me that you're better than Tillman down the line. If you're going to be a go-get-it guy, you got to show me consistency that's better than Tillman if I'm going to go take you over that. So I still go Young.
Speaking of, the Vols have got some pass catchers, man. Holy smokes. Cedric Tillman's haven't even played, I think, 3 weeks because of an ankle.
Right.
But Jalen Hyatt and Brew McCoy, big, physical. My goodness. Eric Crocker, Quentin Johnston, TCU, or any other draft-eligible wide receiver.
Well, I think before the season, this would have been a for sure. Like, oh, let me go with, Boutte, or let me go with Jackson Smith and Jigma. But I think right now this definitely is a conversation. And when you look at his combination of size, ability, a guy that is 6'4", because you talk about the other guys, those guys aren't as big, right? They don't have as much size as what you're seeing from Johnston. And then you look at the versatility, being able to line up inside, outside. I put a lot of stock into that. The ability to win vertically down the field and be open even when you're not open. So right now, he definitely makes a very strong case. I can lean towards Johnston right now, but I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. And I like where Ryan was going with guys like Cedric Tillman. You see what he's doing. Talked about guys like Perry out of Wake Forest and what he's doing. That's another big, long strider that goes up and gets it as well. So this receiver class, I think when it's all said and done, there's going to be a lot of dynamic guys and some taller guys that we haven't really seen in recent years.
Yes. My buddy Andre Ware has called a couple of Florida State games. He loves Johnny Wilson. 6'7", and dude can run, ball skills, excellent body control. The back line of end zone, he made a catch against Louisville, and Dre talked about it for about 5 minutes. So Johnny Wilson, another name to throw in there. All right, Eric, you start with this one. And as I was putting either or together, I just happened to look at my screen, and I saw this player, and he's a dual threat player. He was thought to be able to play one position, but he's come into the league and done another. And who I'm not comparing him to, but who I'm making the choice of, that was a guy that could do things in a different way, but at two different positions as well. So I'm making you the GM of an expansion team, both of you. And you get to pick either Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons, or in his prime, Houston Texans, J.J. Watt. Eric Crocker, who do you take?
When you said Micah Parsons, I'm like, oh, okay, and then you say in his prime, and even then I'm thinking, like, all right, let's see where John Harris goes with this. But gosh, J.J. Watt, I love Micah Parsons. I think he is tremendous with his versatility and what he does. I think you guys know what's coming. But J.J. Watt, in his prime, come on, man. We're talking about he went like 3 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards. Yeah. Talk about versatility. His versatility is just being able to play outside, play inside. Heck, I'm watching him play the other day. He's still batting down passes at this age where he's kind of a shell of himself. Man, he was so good, so powerful. I felt like there was one time, man, wasn't he catching touchdowns? Didn't they line him up at like tight end or receiver? Yeah. So, oh, man, I got to go with J.J. Watt. Let's go.
All right. Ryan Tracy.
He was so good. I think it's almost criminal how I think people are forgetting just how good he is. I think now like when you bring it up, it's like, yeah. But there have been people that ask, hey, man, who's better, like, J.J. Watt or T.J. Watt? And I think that's very disrespectful to just how good J.J. Watt was.
I'm telling you, the 2014 season, that was my first on the sidelines with the Texans. I saw him do things. It was one of those things where Mark Vandermeer is our voice. We're playing the Colts one night, and we were down 33-21, and I swear to you, it's third down, and he's like, come on, JJ, time to make a play. And he never did that. And I swear to God, JJ forced a fumble, picked it up, and ran it back, and NRG Stadium almost fell down. Like, he was making plays in 2014, like, on command. It was incredible. But it's the versatility that you're seeing with Parsons in a different way, like a stack backer, edge rusher, whereas JJ was inside, outside on the defensive line. Ryan, you go on Parsons or in his prime, JJ Watt?
As the co-GM of the Stockton Big Dogs, I confer with my partner, Eric Crocker,
right,
and I will take JJ Watt.
All right, that's a good one. All right, Ryan, you get this last one. This is a three for right here. You're not to the Chiefs. Let's think of a team. What team needs a running back in the league right now? What team needs a running back right now? Let's say Denver Broncos. Javonte Williams, ACL, not all the way back. Melvin Gordon's a little bit up in years. Mike Boone, not cutting it. Denver Broncos need more than just a running back, but they're going to draft a running back. And Ryan Tracy, I know as hard as it is to draft for the Denver Broncos, you have to draft one running back, either Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan Robinson or Devin Achane from Texas A&M.
Man, versatility and ability to still grow into the offense, because you're right, he might have to take snaps for him. I'm going to go Gibbs. I think he's got growth, more upside than where Robinson is. I think Robinson's a more finished product overall. So you got to come in the league and you got to make as many plays as you can in as many different ways you can. I think Gibbs has it in him.
Eric Crocker, Gibbs, or Bijan, or the A-Train, Devin A-Chain from out of A&M.
I think we're forgetting a guy too. The running back out of Pittsburgh, Israel. I don't even want to butcher
Israel
his last name.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man,
That's why I didn't put it in there. Abanikanda.
Okay, can't say his name. All right, but tremendous back. All right, but between the guys that you mentioned,
Right.
man, I think Gibbs probably would have been my for sure answer before the season. But just watching Bijan Robinson and just his ability, like with his size, like he has the size that you're going to covet at the next level. Man, he's very fluid. He's making guys miss. He's finishing runs off extremely well. He's catching the ball at the backfield. I think he's doing a lot of everything at an extremely high level. So I'm going with Bijan Robinson.
All right, very nice. Then we took A-Chain. A-Chain's going to come to the league and do some things. I know that. With that speed, his kick return ability, ability to catch out of the backfield, and he's a better inside runner than people think. I don't know that he goes before those other two, but A-Chain's going somebody's going to mess around and let A-Chain get to the Patriots, and they're going to find a way to get him the football, and it's going to piss everybody off at that particular point. But hopefully we didn't anger you tonight on the show. We thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen every day. We got Rob Rang a little bit later in the week, and we got something a little special for you on Friday. Now make your second listen Peacock and Williamson NFL show. Brian Peacock, a former NFL scout, Matt Williamson give you the expert NFL analysis in less than 30 minutes. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. A big thanks to our sponsors tonight, BetterHelp and BetOnline. Appreciate them for being along for the ride. Appreciate these two guys. They've become fast friends. And appreciate you for listening. For Eric, for Ryan, I'm John. We'll see you next time on Locked On NFL Draft. Let's go.
Peace.